Well, Ethan, I know obviously you weren't involved in the Gibraltar game on Thursday night, but what have the past few days been like for the team?
Good. I think our togetherness is always good. Obviously, off the back of the result, we weren't happy. We were disappointed with how the game turned out and how the result turned out. But you know, one thing we've always been good at is being together. So it's carried on that. It's not been anything forced. It's just been the same old as we always are.
How was it for you watching from the sidelines? Was it difficult and quite frustrating, I'd imagine?
I mean, it's always frustrating when you're always watching instead of playing. You're always more nervous, or because you can't really have any impact on the game. But yeah, it's never nice to watch anyway.
I want to ask you about the fans' reaction after the game, because they made it pretty obvious that they weren't happy. As a collective, what's it like hearing that kind of reaction?
Obviously, it's not nice. We were as frustrated as they were with the result. Obviously, one thing that our nation's been so good at is being together. So we know that obviously throughout the thick and thin we're always going to stick together, we're always going to be together, whether that's us players or us players and the fans. So obviously it was disappointing to hear those boos, and we understand it about the result of the game.
As a group, obviously you had a lot of new faces come in. It feels like a very new, a very fresh group. What do you think you learned about yourselves after that performance?
Yeah, like you said, the Gibraltar game was a game for a lot of people to have their chance to show. And based on that fact, it was good. A lot of people did have the chance to show what they could do, the way they could perform. But I think any game itself, you're always learning. The Gibraltar game was no different. We learned again from that game, and we're going to learn again from tomorrow's game.
Do you think it felt like a bit of a reality check, that 0-0 draw against Gibraltar?
In what sense?
In the sense that of the levels required at this level, at the levels that people now, I guess, expect of this Wales team?
They expect it, but we also expect of ourselves. It's not really come as a reality check. Like I said, the result and the way the game turned out was disappointing. You go into every game wanting to win. But in terms of the levels we expect, we know that. Obviously everyone in the nation, fans, but also us players and staff, we're disappointed we didn't qualify. But we know the levels that we need to get to, and it's the one we have full confidence in achieving.
This week it's been seen as a big opportunity to bring, like I said, new faces in, young players. You've been there yourself as a 16-year-old, younger than the guys that have been introduced on this camp. Do you think those experiences that you had as a teenager breaking into the first team, does that put you in a position where you can help guide some of these youngsters coming through?
If I can, if they listen to me. But yeah, I think, of course, I've been there. I enjoyed those experiences, and I think that's what's always good. When I was that age and I had the older heads making it easy for me to settle in, and ultimately then that makes you play your best football. So I think on the flip side, if I can do that to help them ease in and welcome them in so they can just go out and enjoy themselves, then I'll do everything I can to do that. Tomorrow
night, Ethan, a much tougher test, a different test as well. You'll be captain of Wales tomorrow night. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, really proud. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. But putting that aside, like you say, it's going to be a tough test, and it's a game that we want to go win. I have my obviously personal achievement within that, but for tomorrow's game, it's just about trying to do the best we can to win.
Yeah, on a personal level, Ethan, tomorrow night it's the end of what's fair to say. You know, it's been quite the roller coaster of a season for you. When you look back at the last 10, 11 months or so, what's the main emotion?
I was having this conversation after the recent games have gone, and it's difficult because you can look at your own self and maybe people can say you've done well and whatnot, but ultimately what I'm driven about, what happens with the team, and we didn't achieve our goals. So it's hard to say that it's a lot of joy because we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, so it's feeling frustration. But then if I'm going to put myself aside, I played a lot of minutes, I enjoyed a lot of football this year, so from that point of view it was enjoyable.
Yeah, you say you've played a lot of minutes. I remember speaking with Rob Page and he said you're amongst the players that have played the most minutes in all of Europe this season, Ethan. You must be pretty knackered by this point.
Well, I've been in positions where I've not played and I've wanted to play, so just because I have played, I can't complain that I'm tired. I wish I could play more, but it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Talk to me about the mentality with this Wales squad, because correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like something that you might be struggling with a little bit, given the disappointment of the Poland game, given obviously what happened with Leeds at the end of the season as well. How tough is it to keep going? How do you keep on picking yourselves up again?
Yeah, it's obviously tough within the moments, and especially when a final whistle is gone. That night, those days following onward are tough, but then you remember what your bigger dreams are and achievements are, what you want to achieve, and that's sort of what keeps you going and what keeps you working hard, because there's always the next thing to qualify. Okay, everyone's disappointed we didn't qualify, or as for Leeds to get promoted this year, but then we've got next year, so you can't dwell on it too much. You have to, as harsh as it sounds, you have to kind of let it go. It's easier said than done, but move on to the next one.
Tomorrow night, again, as captain, I know we've had a lot of conversations because a lot of people have tipped you as the future captain of Wales. You've worked under a lot of influential captains as well throughout your career. What kind of influence would you like to have on your team? What kind of captain does Ethan Ampadu want to be?
I don't know, it's hard to think of that right now.
Sorry, that's a tough question.
I want to get through tomorrow. But no, I think I don't want to change anything. I want to keep being the way I am and keep doing what I'm doing every game. Whether that's just trying to help players, help the team, trying to keep calm heads, focused minds. Maybe it sounds a bit basic, but just try and do what's necessary to make the team play the best we can.
In terms of tomorrow night, obviously it'll be Slovakia's big send-off to the Euros, which I guess for players, for fans, could be quite tough to watch. It's almost like what could have been. But how do you use the experience of tomorrow night to help drive you on to this Nations League campaign in September?
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what result is for them, tomorrow they can have a big send-off after the game. So for us to see that and sort of have the feelings we have to work harder and fight, to be on the flip side. So next time around, we're the ones being the send-off, which we have the full belief we can do. We fell short this time, which we're all disappointed with. But yeah, tomorrow's a game of football, and as professionals, you want to win every game of football that you're playing. So for us, it's not a friendly, it's still a proper game of football. And
I guess apart from the results, how important is it that you put in a really strong performance tomorrow night as well, considering there's quite a big gap then between the next games in September? Yeah,
but it's what we want to do. Obviously, people are trying to say it's important, which it is, but if the past wasn't the past, it would still be important no matter what. So I think for us, it's just focus on that and using that mindset that it's the next game of football and it's the next game of football that we want to go try and win.
Ethan, diolch yn fawr. Thank you.
Thank you.